Hello and welcome to 10 Minute Takes. This is where we give you the rating first, then we discuss what we liked and didn't like about the movie we watched. We have 3 shows we're doing today. First one is The Predator. So our rating system is either a see it, wait for it, or pass it. Ready?
Yes.
Okay. 3, 2, 1.
Wait for it.
But I will say, if you're a fan of B-movie schlocks like I am, like I love Mimic and Relic, it is a see it.
You just got really excited.
It is a see it. But I know no one or not everyone likes movies like I do. So for those.
Yeah, but that's cheating. You
Nope,
can't have
nope,
2.
It's okay. It's okay.
It's
okay.
totally cheating.
Nope, it's okay. Let's get into it.
You're cheating.
The Predator. The Predator is a new film in the Predator franchise. I believe it is the 4th Predator film, the 6th if you count Alien vs. Predator films. So this tells the story of a Army Ranger who is on a mission, who during his mission comes across a predator that lands on Earth. The government finds him and they start interrogating him. Before they interrogated him, he was able to capture some predator tech, send it home to his son. His son acquires it. And then while he's getting interrogated, the predator then reemerges. And at this point, he is on a bus with other army rejects or people that are in some sort of army prison. They call themselves the Loonies. When the predator arrives again or reconvenes with these guys, they then go on a mission to try and stop the predator while also saving the town that it is attacking. So with that said, I will say that the Predator, when this movie is at its best, is when the camaraderie of the group of the Loonies is on full display. It's pretty much just them hanging out, talking with one another. And the weakest part of the film is probably the Predator stuff. And that's where people can be really, really divided. So, with that said, let's talk about the good things first. So, like I said, the camaraderie of this movie with the acting, the cast, I felt like was really strong. I really liked all the actors.
It was really funny.
It was really funny. I thought this was...
They bounced well off of each other comedically, and the group worked well together.
I felt the same way. Some comments I've been reading from people that have seen it actually didn't think this movie was funny at all. People actually hated the comedy.
Comedy was the best part. And
yeah, I agree. Essentially what this film is that Shane Black, the writer and director of this movie, he was actually in the original Predator. He was one of the actors in the very first one. He wrote a comedy first and then dropped a Predator inside of it. That's how I feel like what he did.
Is he a comedian?
He's a comedic
director?
He puts a lot of comedy into his movies. The last movie he did before The Predator was The Nice Guys. Before The Nice Guys,
Oh,
he
that's
did
right. That was a
Iron
good
Man
movie.
3,
Yeah.
Kiss Kiss Bang Bang. He's been a writer on the Lethal Weapon movies.
Gotcha.
So
He's done a lot.
Yeah. So his shtick is very quippy dialogue, good one-liners, usually writes really strong characters. Mm-hmm. And I felt like those were the best aspects of this film. The one-liners got me. I thought they were pretty much all funny. It can get kind of offensive from time to time. I liked it.
The comedy turns crude sometimes, but I laughed too.
So
I kind of laughed and I was like, oh, that was bad.
yeah.
But
There are some things
funny.
that will offend people. It's not going to be everyone's bag of tea. I get that. But as a lover of monster films and what I would call schlocky B films, like this
what do you
film,
mean by schlocky B films? Because that makes me think of B movies. So what is that? What does that mean?
like a schlocky monster B film would be Mimic is one of my favorites. That's a Guillermo del Toro film. A lot of people hate that movie. It is probably my favorite Guillermo del Toro movie.
So it's basically
Del
B
Toro
movies.
did Shape of Water.
But that's a B.
No. Shape of Water is an A movie.
Okay, so what you're saying is basically B movies for monsters.
Yeah, Relic is
okay.
another one. Relic is a monster movie from the 90s that I like a
Get it
lot.
now.
It takes place in a Chicago museum. Pretty much if you have what I feel maybe a competent plot with maybe some fun characters and you throw a monster in there, I'm going to dig it.
I think that this movie could go on forward in straight to DVD movies.
Oh, it's
Like
better.
this-
It's better than that. It's better than that. It's not a straight to DVD movie.
I didn't say this one was. I said in the future, if they were to continue the storyline that they're thinking about, then I think maybe it would be straight to DVD movies. I'm just saying. I didn't say this
it's
one
not
was.
gonna Predator's
You're
not
twisting
gonna be
my
a
words.
straight to DVD
You're
franchise.
twisting my words.
But Predator 2, I could
I'm
say it's
saying
maybe
it
like
could.
a B movie. Alien vs Predator is really a B movie, but it's still schlocky fun. It's Predators versus aliens in the
I don't
Antarctic.
remember it.
I don't know if you've ever seen it. I like them. I just like them for just the schlocky fun that they are. And I feel like this kind of fits into that mold. If you're going into this film wanting a similar vibe as your first Predator film with Arnold Schwarzenegger, not your movie. You're not going to get this. You're not getting that film here. You can also tell that there was heavy reshoots for this film, and you can tell that there's scenes that have been altered, changed. Some of it feels kind of choppy. Specifically the third act.
I felt like it was choppy the whole time. I felt that it was really back and forth. There were moments where you weren't really sure what was happening. I felt like it was choppy the whole time. Like it almost felt like there were reshoots in like sporadically through the film.
As kind of what it was. There's conflicting reports based on how much of the script was changed. Originally there was 4 Predators in this film. They reshot it and added it to just 2. So there's the Ultimate Predator, and originally it was like the Ultimate Predator versus 3 smaller Predators with humans caught in the middle. And they changed it to just 1 Ultimate Predator and 1 smaller Predator.
Okay.
Now, with that said, beyond the actual, what I felt like the camaraderie of the group, the one-liners, the comedy that worked for me, just the kind of the violence and the schlocky fun that this was. Beyond that, the film was lacking in a lot of other aspects. When you actually try to break the film down and think about it, it really doesn't make any sense. When you think like the Predator's mission in this film, the smaller Predator, when you look at his mission in this film and what he was trying to do, I don't want to spoil it. It's not in the trailers or anything. But if you know what his mission is when he comes to Earth and he just goes on like a murdering rampage, it doesn't make any sense to go on a murdering rampage based on what he was trying to do.
There was kind of a point in the movie where I was spacing out a lot.
So his mission when he comes to Earth, he's come to Earth for a very specific task. Would it make sense for him to kill people? Except for the fact that when he landed, somehow they captured him and brought him into a facility and they locked him up. So in essence, like if you're a Predator and you woke up and you're like chained to some military sort of compounds and you woke up like that, I guess I'd start killing people in that moment as well. But prior to that, I don't think he would start killing people based on why he was there. Also, the Ultimate Predator I felt was pretty weak. I wasn't a big fan of this sort of upgraded version of the Predators.
I think I turned to you and I was like, are they supposed to be that tall?
Yeah, it was a little weird.
I was like, I thought that was very out of place. Like I said, like there was a lot of points in the movies that felt really out of place and disconnected with the story and just random. Mm-hmm. And I was very spacey. The one good thing about this movie that I'd say that I gave it a wait for it was because of the comedy.
Yeah.
I felt like that was worth seeing it in theaters. If that wasn't there, it would have been a hard pass for me.
For me, this is a shut your brain off, don't really think about it, just enjoy the ride kind of film. Really kind of fell apart in the third act. You can tell things were really rushed. Apparently there was like a bunch of character deaths that were supposed to start happening like in the second act, and the characters were supposed to be like picked off slowly throughout the film. But then they reshot it to have pretty much the characters that were supposed to die all within a span of like 3 minutes.
Yeah, that was sad. You didn't have time to be sad about any one of them because they just kept dying.
Yeah, it was real fast and real choppy. One of the character deaths.
They died in funny ways and like cool ways.
Yeah, one of the deaths.
One of them were funny.
In like it's like a half a second. It's one single shot, but if you're not really paying attention, you miss it.
Well, I asked you. I turned to you and was like, "Wait,
what just happened?" You're like, "What just happened?"
Did he just do that?
I was like, "Yeah, he did. That happened." Also, they change a lot of the backstory of the Predator and why they collect trophies. They change them from like trophy hunters to an actual. They try to give like a reason as to why they steal the skull and spine of their prey instead of just being like honorable hunters that collect trophies from different planets. they're actually trying to take the DNA from the things that they hunt and apply it to themselves to make themselves better hunters, I suppose.
Oh, I didn't even get that. That totally went. I didn't even know that until you told me right now.
Yeah, so that's the whole. Like, that's the sort of like the change in the mythology that they did with this film. And the other thing I really didn't like is they essentially just made the Predators bulletproof, taking any.
Oh, they couldn't die. There was like really difficult to make them get killed.
Yeah, and it essentially just takes all the tension out of some of the action sequences, because in all the other Predator films up until this one, the Predators you could shoot and kill them. They were vulnerable. So when they were out hunting, there was a sense of, you feel like that the heroes could fight back. In this one, you felt like no matter what they did, there was just nothing they could do to fight back. And it killed the tension for me, especially in the third act.
Yeah.
And I didn't like it, but even with all that said, this is still schlocky B film fun. It's still, for me, if you like that kind of film, like I do, I grew up on the Godzilla movies, man in a rubber suit fighting other men in rubber suits movies. So I dig that stuff. So for me, I dug it when in the sort of like childlike mentality that I can have with these kind of films. Oh, that's our timer. So, that's my final thoughts on it. If you like schlocky B films, this is see it, check it out. If you don't, if you want something more serious, if you want a Predator film that's going to be more like the original, this isn't for you. What do you think?
The reason why I gave it a wait for it, it's worth seeing, but like I said, I don't know if it's going to move forward. It's going to be interesting to see if they move forward.
If they make a sequel, I don't want them making a sequel based on the ending that we saw. I would like them it was a fun ending. The very last scene is.
I thought that was the coolest part.
It's a little goofy. I don't need to see The Predator 2 with that. I wouldn't mind if they did The Predator 2 with a completely different cast out of somewhere else and not reference the very last scene of this film. If they just like retconned it like it didn't happen, be totally cool with that.
I thought it was cool. I think the first thing I said when it came out, I was like, that would be an interesting second film. And you were like, meh. Not your.
It would make a cool statue or toy or something on the shelf. I don't want to see that.
No, we don't need any more.
I don't need to see that thing. I don't need to see that in a battle in the second film. So that's it for me. Is that it for you?
It's for me.
All right. That's it for this episode of 10 Minute Takes. Thank you for watching. This was The Predator. We have White Boy Rick next. Stay tuned. Subscribe if you'd like to see more. And we got more episodes coming. So thank you for watching.